First of all, let me once again thank you for coming to our show. It is a big
Yes.
pleasure for us. Asya, how did you get this idea to invite Cassandra to our channel?
So some times ago, Dina started this conversation, her channel, where everyone started saying if they dated, if they're single, and we thought this is a topic that is very relevant. From now on, I shut up and I'll pass the word to you. Could you please introduce yourself very briefly? Tell us what are you doing and what you're specializing on.
Absolutely. So again, thank you guys for having me on here. I'm very honored and excited. I love, and I love men. I absolutely love, I adore men. And my name is Cassandra. My Instagram is Asmus Cassandra, and I inspire men to create incredible memories with their loved ones. I love men. I love the way that men love. I think men love so intensely and so richly. And I often think that men are misunderstood. And I think a lot of times men misunderstand women. And I did some research not too long ago. I have a survey that's a relationship survey that's just for men. And that is right. I am the real hitch. I am. That's what they used to call me. They used to call me the female hitch. But
Wow.
so kudos to you for saying that. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Tulse? Maybe that's how you say it?
Tulsi, yeah.
Tulse. Thank you. Yes, you're right. But yeah, I did a relationship survey just for men, and I found out some incredible news. So, in media, on TV, they usually make the man super romantic, or they make him a total. Are we allowed to curse on here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not really. Okay, well, guys are usually a-holes, or I don't know, like how you guys say it, or they make them seem like they're such jerks, and so we have like these two extreme examples of men who are either so romantic and he is the knight in shining armor, or he is the complete jerk and he hates women, he's taking advantage. And what my survey showed is that men really want to be remembered as a good man, and they want the women in their lives to feel like she feels loved, adored, and cherished, but they don't know how. So I love to explain the how, where it's very simple and easy, and then women are happy. And if we have happy husbands or happy men and happy women, and they decide to have children, now we have happier homes. And it's the love and the gift that keeps on giving. So that's why I like to do what I do. Tulsi says, can you explain your coaching activity with some use case, like how do you precisely intervene? Sure, I will answer that right after Tulsi. I got you. So the thing to understand is that in the beginning of the relationship is what they call the honeymoon phase. It is the most fun, the most adventurous, and it gets our hormones pumping. It feels so good. It's like a drug. So what happens is some people don't make it past relationships beyond the 1 to 2 year mark, because that's when those hormones start to come down, and now you're dealing with a real relationship. So instead of fixing the issues, they run and they jump into another relationship to restart that drug feeling, that new high all over again. But if this person has qualities that you like, right? So if this person has qualities that you like and you want to work on it, then you need to be very clear about what you need and how to address what you need in a way that makes a guy feel inspired, right? Or the lady feel inspired. So tools say, when I do coaching, what I talk to people about is how to communicate in a way that is like, that's nice. You got to remember to be friends, right? We forget that. What happens is we talk to our friends, we talk to strangers with a lot of respect. But when it's the person that we love and our emotions are in the mix, sometimes we get a little feisty, and then we have an attitude. So it's called a gentle start. So you want to talk about how it would make you feel. So if a guy used to call you all the time, or your girl used to call you all the time, instead of saying, hey, you don't call me anymore, and you're defensive, instead what I teach is say how it feels. It would feel so good to me if I heard from you more often. What do you think? Very simple. Very simple technique. Literally, if you guys do that when you're talking, it would feel really good to me if, or, I miss seeing you. When's the next time you're free? I would love for us to go out on a date. Instead of, we haven't gone out. Where are you? So what happens is our emotions get in the mix of things, our emotions get involved, and then we mess it all up. and then we don't want the relationship anymore. So that's a way that we can get around that part. I hope that answers your question and your question, Tulse.
But I would like to ask, how does person know that this person is his or her?
Is the one.
Is the one.
You know, if we had the answer for that, we would bottle it up and sell it. It's one of those things, you know, when you know, you know. And I think the first mistake people make when they're dating is that they don't know what they're really looking for. So a lot of relationships coaches will say, make a list, make a big list of all the things that you want. Remember all the relationships that you've had, make a long list of all the things that you love. So some of the things that I love of all relationships, whether it's your father, a boyfriend, a good guy friend that you had. So for me, like, I love my dad's sense of humor, and I even love the way my dad's hands look. I love his cologne. Like, I'll make all the lists. My boyfriend, he was funny. We went on trips. Make a long list, and then from your long list, choose the top 5 things that you know you cannot live without. Just 5.
Okay.
So this is like the advice that they should write down right now in the notes, because we actually told them to take the pen and the paper and to take the notes for this class.
Yes. So one thing. So there's a lot of guys in here, right?
Yes. Okay. I think there might be 2-3 women in the chat maximum.
Okay. So guys, this is right. Guys. This is what I want men to understand about women. This is the thing that guys take for complete granted, and one of the reasons why their relation. I'm going to tell you the number one thing that guys take for granted with women, and they don't get it. They don't realize it. And then I'm going to tell you number 2, what's the main thing that women want. So the number one thing that guys don't understand about women is how fear-based we are. This is a physical, biological experience that women have, which is we can feel danger in ways that men don't. So when women are walking in a dark area, we're more likely to feel afraid than men do. If a man is standing on like above you, he's standing in your face, it can make you feel intimidated. And men don't realize how much pressure this causes for women. So for example, if I have a room filled with 100 women and 100 men, and I ask women, when was the last time you felt kind of like threatened in your body when you were if you were like going to your car, it was dark at night and you're going to the car, how many women would feel afraid getting to your car and you're by yourself? Most of the women out of the 100, majority of them would raise their hands. And I said fear, not beer-based. Fear, afraid. But I actually do like beer though. But yeah, and most of the guys would just be like, I just get to my car and just go in there. Why it's important for men to know on a biological level, right? This is science. There's no escaping this. Is that women, we don't have as much testosterone as men do. And that testosterone it also helps to boost confidence. This is why when guys are like doing heavy weights and things of that nature, they take steroids, they take testosterone, it helps boost your confidence. So sometimes when guys are in relationships, they do too much, they cause a lot of pressure. And so even if a woman really liked you, like really, really liked you, but you are pressuring her, she might no longer be interested in you because she no longer feels safe. A woman wants her man to feel like her protector, not her predator. So that's the number one thing that men misunderstand about women, how much protection we like to feel. The number one thing that a woman wants and needs is to feel a man's presence. This is not the same thing as attention. Because sometimes people say like, oh, she just wants attention.
Being in the same room?
It's beyond, and it's more than that. So you can be physically present, but mentally absent. So that wouldn't be the same. Make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. It's actually having conversations, is having sharing moments together, sharing moments. Yes.
Yes. So your presence, guys, means the world. So that means to connect with her. So if she's talking about, food, you don't want to talk about sports because then you're not present. You're not really there with her in the moment. So you want to be present, and it means the world to the right woman. If she doesn't like you, then, well, it doesn't do the same. But if she loves you, it matters all the more.
I'm so happy you just said it because I was thinking all my life that it's my personal issue.
Which part is that? That's your personal issue?
Well, any, but basically the one, mostly the one with presence, and actually being protected is I feel that that when I have this smallest action from men's side that in my mind is somehow connected to something that is not safe.
Right.
It can be even a person that I really love, and it can be a person that I trust. But once it somehow brings me to this association or chain of memories that create this sensation of insecurity, I close. But
of
once I have
course,
the smallest, like I don't know, even like a touch on the shoulder that is bringing you this warmth, and okay, I have my protector next to me, my guard. And this moment I feel that okay, I'm in a good place. But also I think with the sharing moments together, it's very important. I'm so happy you said it.
Absolutely. And the reason why guys take their strength, like men are strong, like really strong, and they take that for granted. They take it for granted how strong they are. They take it for granted that even in a threatening situation, they feel confident that they'd be able to handle themselves. Whereas women, sometimes, we will, that's why sometimes with women, we lose our temper because we feel unsafe. It's not because we really think we can take you down. It's because it's kind of like, the mama bear, in the corner, she's protecting her young and she's growling and hissing. She doesn't really want to fight you, but she's trying to let you know, back off, And so the way to help a woman to not get so upset is to ensure that she feels safe and help her to feel relaxed. Help her to feel relaxed. That'll help you a ton. But I think so Tulsi said, I don't think the first thing he said, don't you think the first thing one wants is to be supported, as society encourage women to support men in their career and their purpose? That's the same thing as presence. So presence in a relationship is like a big umbrella. It just means I hear you, I am there with you, like I'm on the same page as you. So if a woman for her career, she wants support in her career, then yes, that qualifies. But it also means, being connected to her. So for me, my like love language, the way I feel loved in a relationship is physical touch. So if I'm having a bad day, I don't want I personally, I would not want my husband to bring me a gift, right? That would not cheer me up. I would want my husband to hold me, to touch me, because that's my love language.
Sorry. I saw that you were speaking a lot about the 5 languages of love. Can you please speak about it a little more right now? Explain
Of course, absolutely. So Gary Chapman wrote this book that I consider a classic. It's amazing. It's called The 5 Love Languages. And basically what he says is that guys and women, we have our own ways of how we understand how we feel loved. And what happens is you can be in the right relationship, right? You can be with the one and they just don't know how to love you because they're loving you according to their own way. So one of the love languages is physical touch. Another one is gift. Another one is acts of service, quality time, and then words of affirmation. Words of affirmation just means like saying sweet and positive words. In the same way that you have a love language, and it's so important. So my primary love language is, like I said, is physical touch, right? So do I love gifts? Of course I love gifts, Maladia. Who doesn't want a gift? Of course I love it. But having a lot of gifts would not necessarily mean to me that I was loved. It doesn't mean never do it. It just means that if I'm in a space where I could use and receive love, a hug, a kiss, a touch means everything. And physical touch is not the same thing as sex, you guys. So it doesn't mean that. It just means I want to feel your body close to me. That's what matters to me.
I want to add something, that it doesn't have to be separate. I mean, it's not the same thing, but even I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but people who have this this physical language is more close to them. I think that even while having intimacy, they will prefer, you know, to have a hug, to have a touch, to have a caress on their head. It's sex is sex, but still there is this thing that physical people need a little bit different. They feel very very more, they experience it bigger, everything, when they receive this little caress, little touch. So this is not separate. Not separate.
So Original Black Pepper says this is confusing. Get a gift, but don't get a gift. So it depends. It depends on the lady, right? It depends on the lady. So this is just a way of understanding something, right? It's not, it's not to be taken so literal, but it's just to say that you need to know the lady that you're with. So for me, I think everybody enjoys all the 5 love languages, but they're ranked. Which one is the most important? 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So it doesn't mean don't do anything at all. It just means which one is the most important.
And we have a question. And we have a question from Julian, FMJ Low. Do guys have those 5 love languages too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This goes across the board for everybody. So again, it's according to your liking, right? Like some guys love gifts. Some guys love acts of service. Acts of service means is back to what Tulsi was kind of asking about when he said, do women want to feel supported? Acts of service is like to support somebody, support them on what they're doing. So if acts of service is your primary love language, and they change, right? Like as you get older, as the structure of your house changes, your love language can change. So when you meet, and this is what confuses men, this is what drives men bananas, because they really try to do the good thing. They really try to be there, and they're like, what is going on? So fellas, you might meet a woman, right? Boy meets girl, boy falls in love with girl sees guy, she falls in love with guy, and they are ready to go the distance. They want the wedding, they want the house, they want it all. And her primary love language when they met was physical touch. And that was amazing, because as soon as she touched him, he is aroused, he's ready for sex, she wants sex, they're ready to go, they're having sex all the time, they're married, they're super happy. And of course, they have so much sex that what happens? She gets pregnant, and now they have their first child that's on the way, and then everything changes. And then guys get frustrated because they're like, what the heck is going on? What happens is every time you have a major change in your household, anything can change. So at first, prior to the baby, her primary love language could have been physical touch, but then after having the baby, her primary love language might be acts of service, which means I am taking care of the baby. Could you please do the laundry? I'm taking care of the baby. Could you please wash the dishes? No, I don't want to be touched right now because I have a baby that is sucking milk and life and energy out of my body. I need you to love me differently. So when a man is present, that's why I said a woman's number one need is for a man to be present. If you're present, then you can't be thinking about the past. Right? If you're present, you can't think about, oh, well, you used to love it when I did that for you before. You would realize, okay, she just had a baby. She has a lot going on. What can I do right now?
That's a very powerful thing. And I think I can relate to this. And I think Dina and anyone else can.
Yes,
I can
absolutely.
see it in any couple that I know. I can see it. And I see that most of the conflicts are coming from this.
Yes.
And I was wondering, Dina, I don't know, are you on the chat, and are there any other questions before I jump into my thousands of questions?
Yeah, we actually have a lot of questions. Both me and Dicey were having questions. Also, Chad has questions. I had one question in particular.
Yeah, let's give the priority to the chat.
Well, this one is not from the chat, it's from my own, but before I forget. Don't you think that today we have this problem with seduction and understanding someone physically because of the digitalization of our society? Very particular question for Twitch users.
Right. So what do you mean by that? Like, give me an example. Like, what problem do you see?
Like the relationships are digital now, right? Yeah, they start digital wise. People meet, let's say, fall in love without even having met each other. So, and then when they meet, when they start the process of seduction and understanding someone physically, do you think that it can be influenced or changed? Like, do we have actually a problem like in this 21st century, particular than we didn't have before?
Yes, I think it makes it unique, but I don't think it's anything new under the sun, right? So I think that people are in relationships and intimacy is always changing. What makes this interesting is that digitally, right? It also gives you remember that when I said in the beginning of a relationship, you feel a lot of the hormone oxytocin. So it's like a drug.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the digital age and digital life is very addictive because you get to become any personality that you want, right? And sometimes people, they fall in love with words, and somebody can be really good at typing, but they're not really good at speaking.
Indeed.
So maybe the way the conversation happened, there was a lot of banter, like I see the guys, they're being silly and they're being funny in the chat, which I love it. But in person, if one of these guys, were to talk to me in person, they probably would not be talking like this to me in person. They would be a little bit more disarmed because I can't see them and they cannot physically see me. We're just chatting, right? So there's a lot of courage. People have a lot of courage behind a keyboard and a mouse and a monitor. But in person, any one of these guys who are talking in person, if I looked at them seductively, they might get very nervous. And then all their courage goes out the door. So this confident man that was, typing away and telling me all these hot and steamy, wonderful things. And then when I see him and I look at him and I show him that I want him, he might start stuttering and not know what to do. So it can affect the intimacy.
There was something that I wanted to tell you. I think it was pretty funny that you mentioned it. Our grandfather used to tell us every time that the way to the path to the heart of a man lies through his stomach, and the path to the heart of the woman lies through her ears. So if a man wants to be charming and all, like to win her, he needs to always to tell her compliments and cheering her up and making jokes. So this is like, for him, it was always the primary, as I understand it now, it was the primary language for any woman for him. But apparently, it's not the only one that's.
Oh yes. So.
I think it's very much connected to this situation of fears and being secure, because since we have our scale of fear so huge, so we want to hear. Are you still in love? Do you still love me? Am I good looking today? So it's always.
Absolutely. I'm so happy you said that. Absolutely. So when someone is fear-based, right? And this doesn't mean that women cannot grow, we cannot mature. Yes, but yes, women have a tendency of always wanting to check, because when we are feeling unsafe, you feel insecure, right? It doesn't mean she is an insecure woman. It just means that we lack testosterone. So we don't really always feel confident. It helps to support a woman by affirming and reaffirming. Men don't really need it as much as we do. So the big thing is guys, you can't treat a woman like a man. And ladies, we cannot treat men like a woman. So that means that one of the things that men love is sex. But the one thing that a man loves more than sex, there's one thing that a man loves more than sex.
And it's not food.
It's not food.
It's respect.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's the only thing that a man loves more than sex is respect, especially when love is involved, especially. So what happens is that a woman, sometimes women think that they can use their bodies. Like, so when women think, so for example, women think that if I look beautiful and, you know, he will just love me, right? And I just have to work on my looks. But there's a lot of beautiful women with an ugly personality. And so he can have sex with her. And if she is disrespectful or something about her turns him off, he can have sex with her and leave, because he doesn't want that. He doesn't need that. So respect is more important than sex, especially in a relationship. And a lot of times is why women have to be careful. We have to be careful how we talk to our men, because if we talk to him crazy and he feels disrespected, it can be very offensive, and it can affect the relationship. But the good thing is that if you can respect him, then hello, the sex is on, and you know. You got to get ready, because it's very important. Sex is very important for men, and sex is important for women, right? But it's just that men tend to have less hangups around sex. So what that means is a guy is not wondering, you know, is she gonna want to have sex with me? I have love handles. Like, women might feel like that. Turn off the light, you know, like, I don't like how my boobs look after, you know, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, I like the way they look, you know, at 6 o'clock in the morning, where they're nice and full and perky, you know, and then it's like, you know, so, you know, in the morning, fine, but at night, no, you know, and a guy's like, are you crazy? I don't care, you know, and they're like ready to just go and do it. And so it's good for women. We have to work on our confidence, because confidence is sexy to men. They want to know that you believe, you know, first and foremost, that you're the most beautiful woman in the world, and you're going to be in the bedroom like you're the most beautiful woman in the world. And, you know, guys, you want to affirm that and tell her that, you know, tell her, yeah, you're sexy. You know, we need to hear it, you know, and men, they need to see it. They need to see the confidence. And women, we need to hear that you feel that we are gorgeous and sexy and amazing.
And when it comes to respect, there is a versatile limit, maybe, between where do I respect him without giving up on something about me. For example, when do I respect his desires without compromising? Yes, but maybe without giving up on myself.
So that's a really good question. I'm going to answer your question right after I attend to somebody else. Someone asked a very good question, which is, do women give any hints when they are feeling pressure? The answer is no, not the way that it would be the most obvious to you. And that gets a little bit challenging, and I would love to answer the question. I just don't want to shift it into a heavy conversation, because that gets into it can get into consent. So we're talking about sex, right? And sex is important and sex is awesome. And sometimes guys get confused because she doesn't say no, right? So what I would say is if you can tell somebody's body when they're feeling uncomfortable. You can tell is she ripping off your clothes too, or is she just laying there? So if she's not saying yes, then assume safely that it's a no. So women are not, the reason why I can speak like this is because I study this. So a lot of women cannot explain it because they don't study this. And so it's just like, I research the science and the social skills and the psychology behind women and men. This is not everyday language. So men are held accountable to figure something out that they're not taught, and that's not fair. Men are not taught how to really pay close attention and they're not taught that. So while we have to hold each other accountable and be responsible, they do need some tips on how can I tell if this should go forward. It's okay to say, hey, you look a little nervous. Is this all right? But if she's not ripping off your clothes and she's not touching you and she's all over you, then you can assume that something might be wrong, and you can check in and just ask. If she says it's okay, then you continue, and you can say, I've had even with my boyfriend now, if he senses that I'm not comfortable, he will ask me and he will say, do you want to stop? And he gives me, and for me, it does not ruin the mood. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't hurt me or anything like that. I'm fine with that. And I always tell him, don't stop. So,
lucky guy.
Right. I'm like, please continue. But yes, someone said men are analog, women are digital. Hysterical. You're crazy. Who is this? He's hilarious.
Who said it?
The original Black Pepper.
Oh.
Yeah, he's taking the notes.
I'm stealing that line. That is hysterical. I'm gonna put that in my next post, and I'm gonna tag you.
Yeah, the original, you definitely win all the contests today. He won the best joke twice today. So
yeah, he's hysterical. I love him. But back to your so your question about respect. Here's the other thing. I need women to understand this about men. Men, a healthy man does not want a woman that is a robot. A healthy man does not want a woman who's always saying yes and going along with everything just because.
Mm-hmm.
It's not attractive to a healthy man. So the way that
you want the woman who who is always on controversy, on the saying opposite and asking for opposite, challenging.
Probably before things get serious.
Mm-hmm.
Probably before when things get serious. So there is some level of, and this gets into like feminine energy. At some point, you need to be able to hear him out, right? Because then he'll turn into a robot. He'll turn into it. If he feels like you're not listening to him, he'll just stop talking. He just won't talk. Because it doesn't make any sense. Men are logical. They're not going to go ring around the rosy all over. They're not going to play games with you. If you're not going to listen, then he just won't talk. And he'll just do what he needs to do as he needs to do it. And he just won't communicate it to you. And then when you're wondering why he's not talking and you're asking him, he's going to look at you and he's not going to answer, because it doesn't make any sense. So in terms of respect, how you can respect your man and hold your own views is let him speak, let him say what he has to say, right? And if you didn't, without cutting him off, let him get it out. And then maybe in a few minutes or at another moment, you can come back to him and you can say, hey, baby, yesterday, so I'll give you a literal example. There was, it's actually my father and his wife, my stepmother. So my stepmother, she wanted to sing in a choir for church that her ex-husband was the choir director. Mm-hmm. So my father felt, my father's like, you're going to sing in the choir with your ex-husband? No way. No way. No. And my dad is an alpha male, right? So he was like, absolutely not. And and my father actually told her, they went back and forth on it for a bit. My father he said, I do not feel comfortable with you doing this choir, so you have to make a decision. Either you're going to stay in this marriage and be with me, or you're going to go and be with your ex-husband, because it sounds like that's what you want. She did not cut him off. She did not correct him. She did not argue with him. She listened. And the next day she came to him and she said, baby, I want to talk to you. I love you. I love our marriage. I want to be with you, but this makes me feel good. This is something I've been doing since I was a little girl. And it's a choir that they had for years, for almost 50 years.
Wow. What
happened was the choir shut down at some point for whatever reason, and they were like having a reunion. They were having a reunion, so so it's all her friends from when she was like 12 years old that they used to sing in this choir. They were coming back and she wanted to be around them. So it wasn't about her ex-husband, it was about all her friends. And she said it would make me feel really good and make me feel happy to be in this choir. But if you don't want me to, then I won't. But it would really crush my heart if I can't do it. My father was very upset, but he thought about it, and that was the end of it. They didn't go back and forth. She said what she has to say, and she was quiet, right? Quiet. And that gave my dad an opportunity to think. That's a big mistake that women make. And I hate that I'm going to admit this right now, but I'm going to admit it. We talk too much. We talk so much, and they cannot think. And it's frustrating. What I love about my stepmom is that she says what she has to say in a few words, and then she stays quiet. That gives my dad an opportunity to think about what he heard. And then he came back to my stepmother. He said, you know what, baby? When we got married, I promised you that I would make you happy. If you want to sing in the choir, it's fine. Now she's been singing in the choir for like 10 years. No arguments. Because he knows his wife. He knew deep down inside she didn't want to be with her ex. He just didn't want her around it. So that's an example.
Wow.
Someone said this is taking me back to my previous relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some compliments there in the chat. So you saying that you are a live book.
Oh
yes.
Life library. I think that was the yeah.
Oh yes, thank you.
Yeah, walking library. Sorry, yeah, that was the one.
Yeah. So to answer your question, my dad appreciates that his wife spoke up, but she was not disrespectful. She was honest about what she needs, but she didn't argue with him about it. She just said what she needed, and she said what it would provide for her. It would make me feel so happy. If I can't do this, it would crush my heart. But I love you, and I don't want to do anything that's going to interfere with our marriage. That wasn't the first time she's done that, right? And they have a lot of trust. They have a healthy relationship. And so my dad was able to come to his senses and say, you know, that's what she wants. So somebody said, how do I tell a woman politely that she talks too much? So that is very right. So here's the thing, right? This is challenging. This is a very good question. Very, very good question. So this is what I recommend for couples, right? Or for somebody is you actually need to have a moment where you're talking, because the thing that women don't understand about men is a man's attention span. So women, we will send a big text message. He's not reading all of that. He's going to look through it, find a sentence or something that makes sense and say, LOL, so true. And meanwhile, she's cursing him out. And he has no idea what was written. He's not reading all of that, especially after the honeymoon. He's not reading all of that, you know? So here's the thing. You need to have a conversation, because men, their attention span, they just can't handle it. So, and women need to talk. We need it. It's not like we're misbehaving. We're not trying to annoy you, but we need to get it out. So you want to give your lady, and you want to have a conversation, say, you know what, let's do a meta report. That's something that Alison Armstrong calls it, where we talk for about 15 minutes. I listen to you for 15 minutes, say everything that you need to say, and then you give me a break to go and do what I need to do. But in those 15 minutes, make it count. If you work out, I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by making it count. You can do an hour-long workout, or you can do a 15-minute HIIT workout where you're working intensely, and it counts, and you can still get some results, you know? So you want to make those 15-minute count. That means in that 15 minutes, you have to pay attention and give her your undivided attention. No multitasking, no tuning out, but she has to agree. After those 15 minutes, you're going to give your response, and then afterwards he needs to decompress and relax. So the polite way to say she's talking too much is to say, hey, I love to hear your opinions. I love when you talk. I love our conversations, but it's really hard for me to like focus, and you're not doing anything wrong. I can't completely focus. So how about we do this? When you talk, you talk 15 minutes, I'll be 100% present. I heard it from a relationship coach. She gave this really good idea. Let's try this out. You can blame me. You can say,
I feel like this would be the next like 300 messages sent to us in the chat right now. Girls, we like your streams, but we cannot focus on chess. Shut up.
Right. Original Black Pepper says, Cassandra, do you believe that maintaining a marriage in the 21st century is much harder? Absolutely. Absolutely harder. And I'm going to tell you why.
Because women became independent?
Nope. Love is a luxury. It's not so much that so it's kind of, yes, in a sense that women became independent. In a sense, we don't marry for the same reasons, but we're both marrying for love. We're not marrying for survival. We're not marrying because we have to. We're not even marrying for children, right? Like culture has shifted tremendously. If I want a child, but I don't want a man, I can do that. I can have that, you know? I don't have to be in a relationship. Whatever the benefits of a relationship used to provide, which is safety, security, which means, you know, financially speaking, we don't need that anymore. So now when we get married for love. So if my motivation in the past was to get married for physical and financial safety and to have children, then to leave that means that I can lose financial and physical security, right? So that's my motivation. If that's no longer my motivation, and my motivation is love, and love is very fickle, right? Love changes every single day. Then it increases the chances of me leaving. And in the 21st century, we're in the digital age. So if my partner is not giving me attention, guess who will? A brand new man who will see me as a brand new woman and will think that I'm exciting and fun, the same way that my ex used to see me as exciting and fun. And it's giving me that emotional flood. And men too. Men feel that way too. If my lady's not giving me attention and I don't feel respected by her, I'll just get it from someplace else. You know, I can have a relationship. We don't even have to be worried about our neighbor next door or the guy that she works with. I can have a full-blown relationship with a man in Africa, you know, that he would never know about. So yes, it makes it very, very tricky.
There was a question from the chat. Do you think, Cassandra, there is a difference between, let's say, women from United States and European women? Like, well, regarding us, me and Asya, it's complicated because we are like we stream in English. Yeah, we work with the international audience, but originally we are from Russia, so we have kind of mixed cultures. And as they say, Eastern European women, like they say in Europe, Eastern European women are different from like from the Western.
Let's ban him.
Yeah. So, the question was, I just found it, how do you integrate cultural biases in your diagnosis? Must be a lot of difference between US and European women. And we have, there's difference in chat today.
Yeah, so that's one of the principles where I talk about making room in a relationship. So I have like an ebook on my Instagram page. It's totally free. It's a free ebook. And it's called So You Want to Make Her Happy. That's the title of it. So You Want to Make Her Happy. Because really and truly, that's why I love men so much. Men are so sweet. When a man is in love, he absolutely wants to make the woman happy. That is like so important. And part of that for both sides, not just the man's responsibility, but a woman's responsibility too, is to make room for your partner. So when you have these cultural discrepancies and differences, you want to be able to talk about them and what matters to you. So you want to make room and you want to negotiate and make sense of things. So my parents were born in Haiti, but I was born in America, right? So I have some Haitian principles, I have some American principles, but I make room for both of them, right? It's your cultural experiences are no different than any preference that you have, but you have to do what makes sense for the relationship. If it's not going to break the relationship, then let it happen. You know, if it's not going to offend anything, you know, let it go on. But if it's going to offend somebody else, then you guys can talk about it and negotiate. So if you give me a real example, I can talk to you about how to maneuver through that. But
I have to say that just to say something that I hear a lot about myself, and probably Dina does, because we have been moving a lot from country to country. I personally am really tired of stereotypes. In my mind, that it doesn't exist. We're in 21st century. We all consume Netflix, so we all grew up on the same movies of Disney and Pixar and. I mean, if you quote Aladdin, I will know what you're speaking about. So there is, of course, there are some basic things that we can be influenced by, but overall, if you are coming with this very narrow-minded perspective as a guy or as a woman saying, "Oh, I'm gonna date a guy from South Africa or a girl from Germany," and you will be like this, thinking she will like this, don't speak all that. it doesn't exist anymore that much. If you already speak English to each other, that means that the world has changed a little bit. Sorry that I have emotionally interrupted.
I don't think it's that simple. So like, for example, I grew up, you know, my parents are Haitian, as I mentioned, and Haitian culture is very traditional, you know, like the man is the head, he's the leader, and so on and so forth.
Conservative.
Yeah. Very conservative, and that resonates with me. I'm a traditional woman. I want my man to open the doors, and I want to cook, and I want to clean. My boyfriend, however, he does not mind cooking and cleaning at all. He does not want to be the leader. He feels that we are leaders, right? Way different mentality, which is disarming for me, because I'm looking for him to lead, and he's like, you're a grown woman, you can make your own decisions, you know? And I'm like, okay, this is very different. So whether it's a cultural aspect, it's a belief, or an influence, we all have our own mindset. So whatever the term you want to use, cultural, belief, influence, you know, YouTube has taught me, or the streets taught me, or Disney, it doesn't matter. What we're really talking about is, how do we make room for each other in a relationship? How do we both count? That's what we're really talking about. So the culture part is like, you know, whatever it is. It's just a matter of, who am I? Who do I want to be in this relationship? And how do we agree? So I think everybody should design their own relationship. I don't think anybody should say anything like, you know, well, my, you know, that's how my parents did it. It doesn't matter. This is not your parents' relationship. You know, you shouldn't have to say, well, in my last relationship, my girlfriend or my boyfriend didn't like it when I did. It doesn't matter. You're not with your ex. You're with me. So your relationship is an opportunity to constantly interview each other and find out what makes you happy, what makes you feel good, what pains you.
Yeah, that's more or less what I was trying to say, because if you are coming to every person that is coming from Russia and you treat him this way, every person from United States must be this way, you are probably going to mistake, because even the fact that you yourself, Cassandra, that you are more traditional, it's your choice, because you decided that you want to stick to this part that is, but maybe another girl that was born to the same type of parents would say, I want to neglect it, and I want to grow up as an American girl. So it's very individual. And if you are coming to a person thinking, okay, she's French, so let's feed her croissants every day. It's a lot about conversational, personal approach. I think this is just to rephrase what I said before. That there is a space for tradition and it's beautiful, but if you will not ask, you will not know if this person is a typical, whatever it is.
100% agree with you. Totally. I totally agree with you. And your mindset about relationships in life, and that we live our own life, and we have the luxury to do it. And because we live our own life, and we are we are human beings, we get influenced. It's impossible to not be influenced, right? So that means that we always have to check, how do I really feel about this? Because for me, as traditional as I feel like a relationship is supposed to be with my boyfriend, where he is very non-traditional, he's the best boyfriend I ever had, because he's not traditional.
Exactly, opposite.
So even though I have a belief in my mind that I want a traditional relationship, I didn't know how happy I could be if I wasn't in a traditional relationship. I didn't know. So you have to make room for your partner to discover what they need and what they want, and not think like, oh, you should just know what you want. We don't always know what we want. We know some parts, but since when has mankind know what they want? We don't know what we want. Are you crazy? I change my mind tomorrow. Yeah, so someone said, is it true that women are attracted to men who act and look like their father?
Oh.
So, fun fact. So I was married before, I married my high school sweetheart, and I met him when I was 16. We were together from 16, and we were together for 14 years.
Wow.
And he was just like my mother.
Not father, mother.
No.
Wow.
Maybe that's why it didn't work out. That's for another event. But yeah, he was just like my mom. Oh my gosh. And I have a relationship with my dad, you know, but he was just like my mom. I think we marry according to what we're used to, whatever feels like home. My mom is a wonderful woman, very generous, very loving, but she's also very controlling, you know, and that makes it really hard to have an opinion. And my ex-husband was like that. Again, the traditional relationship. So it made sense to me to be with him because he fit my traditional mold. But that's because I didn't know enough about myself to realize that doesn't work for me.
Wow.
So now my boyfriend is like my dad. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe.
I hope he's watching now.
Right.
We'll send him the video.
Right.
Wow.
Do you have questions there?
I was just reading the yeah, so here's the thing, right? So coming back to that about the parents and stuff like that. So this is actually a very, 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 very deep question that the original Black Pepper asked, which is an amazing question. So we're going to break through the stratosphere, guys. Deep spiritual topic. I'm just warning you ahead of time. It's about to get deep. So take a breath.
Okay.
So we marry and get into relationships to heal our childhood. So I have a client who is in love, in deep love, with an extremely toxic woman. And I hate to use the word toxic, but an unhealthy woman, an emotionally unhealthy woman. He is infatuated, deeply in love with, and obsessed with this woman. And he is so confused about why. It took him through having conversations with friends, which is how he ended up talking to me, to discover that it is because he never felt healed in his relationship with his mother that he's now with a woman who's toxic, because he's basically looking to feel validated. He is handsome. He makes really good money. He has a beautiful relationship with a healthy woman who loves him and wants to be with him, but he doesn't want her because deep down inside, he has not healed an inner wound that has been suffering for years, that has to deal with him feeling abandoned by his mom. We play out our I tried to warn you guys. I tried to warn you. But yeah, we tend to, there's a psychological term for that. The psychological term for that is called undoing. When we experience trauma in our lives, it lives in our body, it lives in our minds, and it just stays with us until we resolve it. So sometimes when people end up in bad relationships, sometimes it's because they're looking to resolve. And I'll give you the exact example of what this guy is going through. The child in him wants to be a good boy. He wants to know, okay, I can get love from everybody else. My grandmother loves me, takes good care of me. My siblings adore me. They cherish me. My cousins, what is it about me, mommy, that you don't love me? What am I doing wrong? So how can I perform? Ooh. How can I become the most professional, the most handsome? I mean, when this man walks in a room, all eyes are on him. He is absolutely handsome. He knows how to command the attention of a room. He looks fairly healthy, but deep down inside, he's struggling with not feeling loved. So in his adult life, he ends up in this relationship with this woman who mistreats him like crazy. 1 minute she wants to be with him, the next minute she's ignoring him like he's nothing. And that drives him insane. So he tries to find how can I earn her love?
Wow.
So to answer the original Pepper's question, are women attracted to men who act and look like their father? We are attracted to partners that look like whatever we're trying to heal. Have fun.
How to avoid it? Yeah, and passes the number of the guy. Okay. How to avoid and heal this without getting into the wrong relationship?
It's a very good question. So you want to start by doing your own inner work and understand this. I'm a relationship coach and I still go through this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just aware of it. So first things first is you become grateful for the opportunity to work on the inside of you, because we're all screwed up. We're all screwed up.
True.
We're all screwed up. We all have something.
Absolutely.
We all
certified.
We all have something going on. We all got something. Something is wrong. Nobody's perfect, okay? Me too. I'm not perfect. So the first thing you want to do is you want to realize, okay, this is an opportunity for me to heal something that I suppressed or repressed or didn't know about what was going on, and I will handle it step by step. It's unavoidable, but being in the wrong relationship, you want to pay attention to how you feel, and you want to pay attention to if your partner is open to repairing the relationship. If you can't repair the relationship, you don't have to blame the other person. You can just say, you know, this is not the right relationship for me, and I'm going to take a step back and work on myself. Sorry for making it so grim. Everyone's like, oh my God, I'm thinking about my past relationship. Yeah,
everyone is crying now in the chat.
You guys are funny. Tulse says, Cassandra, stop talking about Irv like this. He wants to stay anonymous, as handsome as he is. Hilarious.
Yeah. No, the chat seems to be absolutely enjoying this conversation. Yeah, guys, if you have some other questions, do not hesitate.
I have one.
Yeah, sure. I'll just inform you girls that I will have to leave you in something like 15 minutes. So
yeah, I also wanted to remind you, Cassandra, whenever you have to go, don't hesitate, just cut it, because I have time.
Yes. So I have like 10 minutes left.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Then we'll
okay, then I will keep my
Let's
question
use
to
this
myself,
time.
and maybe the chat has something to ask.
So what can you do if you know that you fell in love with a toxic person for your health? So you want to first pay attention, and this is from Nem. I'll just call you Nem, because I don't know if I can say it all right now.
The magic tool, right?
I'm so terrible. The magic toe. Okay, great. I'll feel so bad if I said it wrong. Okay, so the magic toe. So great question. So when you realize you're in a toxic relationship, I highly recommend you take several steps back. Do I think a toxic relationship or unhealthy relationship can be healed? Yes, if both parties are there. It gets hard, like say if you're married, there's kids, it gets really hard. There's no one answer on how to resolve it. But the first step that you can do, no matter what level of relationship you're in, is to go inside and find out, okay, what's going on? What am I looking for? What's happening? And work inside. If the person is willing to talk to you, you can ask them, is there anything that you're doing that's contributing to it? So the same example that I was giving you guys about the client that I'm talking about, he said to me, I feel like I must be doing something to drive these women crazy, because every woman I date, they say that I'm driving them crazy. And I said, you are doing something to drive them crazy. You are. And he was like, well, what am I doing? And I said to him, the number one thing that a woman wants from a man is presence. So when you ignore them, you're driving them crazy. And it's causing them to act out, because you're taking your presence away from them. That's abandonment, right? There's more than one way to leave a person. You can abandon them physically, you can forget them mentally, or you can forsake them in their soul. There's 3 ways to leave somebody. And when you forsake a woman, that's the last thing for people who like have read the Bible or ever heard the story of Jesus. He didn't say, why did you abandon me? He didn't say, why did you forget me? He said, why have you forsaken me? That is a soul crushing experience when someone is indifferent to you, like they won't acknowledge your presence and there's love there. That is soul crushing. And people go bananas, right? Because it's a lot of chemical, hormonal things that's going on inside that we can't see, right? So yeah, these are the things that you want to ask your partner. Am I doing anything that you feel is making the relationship not healthy? And work on those things. And you can share the same and say, you know what? When I come home and I try to give you a kiss and you push me away, that actually hurts my feelings. What happens in relationships is we don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to tell people what hurts me. So some guys were like, oh, you don't want to give a kiss? Okay, fine, forget it. And they just walk off. But we have to be honest, like that really hurts my feelings when I try to kiss you and you push my face away. It would make me feel so much happier if when I come to kiss you, that you would kiss me back. That would change my world. And having those real honest conversations makes a difference.
I think in any, not only in romantic relationship, conversation is a good start.
I'm asking myself who will learn more tonight after this conversation, our chat or me and Asya?
Yeah, the guys or the girls, exactly.
Right. So Herb says that he thinks someone did tell me to have a Twitch stream.
Yeah,
this is the first time I've even seen something like this. I didn't even know that it existed until like last week, and then Asya told me about it. So I was just like, oh, okay.
Cassandra, we're here to improve your Twitch experience whenever you feel like, every day, every 24 hours. We would love to have the sessions more and more.
I would love that. She said, I learned so much from this already. My EQ sucks. And these are the things I never... Yeah, and that breaks my heart. This is why I do what I do. So he's talking about his emotional intelligence, his EQ.
Okay.
My heart breaks for men because we expect men to figure it out. You're 21 years old. You become an adult. You should know all about relationships. You should have your finances together. You should be ready. You should have it all together. And what happens is that most men have not been taught these things. They don't know how to do it. But there's an expectation. So a lot of guys don't know how to practice empathy because they weren't taught that. They weren't taught how to care. They weren't taught how to make sure that a woman feels like she matters. But we have the expectation that they do. And when they don't do it right, we penalize them. We take sex away. We talk bad about them. We make them feel replaceable. They receive the consequences of something that they were not even taught. So it's like, how can you give somebody a test, but you didn't teach them what was going to be on there? It's not fair. This is my gorgeous daughter.
We're having a guest.
Gorgeous daughter.
We're having a guest.
Oh,
no. Go play, boo-boo. I'm almost done. That's my sweet little baby girl.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question, and then I got uncomfortable because it was a not for kid question.
Oh, she can't hear you. It's okay. You can ask.
Okay. The subject that we didn't touch today is, I'm sorry, but it's the porn industry. Mm-hmm. And the movies for adults. Okay, let's replace it. Not only that, but also social media and everything. We learn from there. Even people who are experienced in intimacy, at the end, they want to be this person. Mm-hmm. And they want to please the person according to what they saw. Mm-hmm. So if they saw in these movies that a woman likes, I don't know, violence, or she likes to be to dirty talk, or I don't know, at the end, guys, girls, whoever watches, I want to say to you, but I also want to hear it from you, Cassandra. Everything is individual. And most of the movies, they have the standard to fit in, mm-hmm. especially industry for adults. Mm-hmm. So I feel that many people who want to improve, they go there. And this is, I feel that this is a wrong source, because you want to please not a person next to you, but you want to please this hero that you've seen on a screen. And you think, I should act the same way. Mm-hmm. And this ruins everything, because you try to be that person and to please that lady in the movie. Mm-hmm. No, I think it's if you can relate to this.
It's the same principle like I talked. It's how the brain is working. how the brain is working is making you think about, so the brain records information. It has to. If my brain didn't record information, then the next time I see you, I would treat you like you're a stranger. You're not a stranger. I only know who you are or can recognize you because my brain recorded it. So guys, when you guys are watching those kinds of videos and you're watching intimacy videos and you think you're learning about, they're recording the information and they're utilizing that information for their next experience. That's how the mind works. That's why it's important to be present. You cannot always think about what you saw. You have to think about what the person wants right now. And that could count for the same woman. It doesn't have to even be something from the past, because as a woman, if I'm exploring my intimacy and I want to know what I liked 5 years ago, I might want something different, right? But if you keep living in the past by accident instead of being present, then you're always going to be living in the past. You're always going to be behind. So the only way to get around that, and this is something that a lot of guys and women go through, women too. Women are not innocent. Women have no idea. You know, I feel bad. The reason I feel bad for guys is because a lot of women, they try to figure out men, and it's just very, very simple. Like, actually just ask him, you know, like just ask him, you know? But yeah, if you stay in the present and you are curious, an excellent quality to have in a relationship is curiosity. If you can hold on to the curiosity and you're discovering your partner and you let your partner discover you, then you are more likely to have a beautiful relationship because you're constantly learning them. You're never assuming, I already know her. You're always in discovery.
So maybe just to summarize, to make sure we're covering this part before you go, what your work is like? Are you individuals? Are you working with couples? Are you helping people to find themselves? Are you helping people to first find the right person?
Yes. So
how can people
just to summarize so that our audience knows how to find you, and more importantly, when they find you, when they reach you in the Instagram, we have the link at all. When they decide to contact you, what it would look like.
Absolutely. So you can, right now, the best way to contact me is on Instagram. I primarily work with guys. So when I work with men, what I'm currently doing is I'm helping men to create their masculinity blueprint, right? I help men to discover who they are and help him to become the man that he knows he is on the deep down inside, in relationship to himself and in relationship to the woman of his dreams or the woman that he's currently pursuing. And I also do work with couples. So when I work with couples, I work a lot around feminine and masculine energy. And I help women to understand men, and I help men to understand women. And then I help them to understand their partner, because every woman is not the same and every man is not the same. But we do a lot of discovery, and I help them with their communication, healthy communication, how to have a conversation without having a fight, right? How to improve their intimacy life, and how to create the relationship of their dreams and keep that passion going and the happiness. So if you check me out on Instagram and you shoot me a DM and then let me know what you're looking for, and I can support you. So for example, when I talk about masculinity, right now I'm working with a 27-year-old guy, and he has a lot of religious upbringing, and he has a woman that he really wants to marry, but he doesn't know how to show up as a man in her life. He's afraid, like, do I pursue her? Am I doing too much? Like, what to do? So I literally help him every step of the way. And I also ghostwrite for him. So when he tells me how he's feeling, I say, okay, this is how you want to say it. And I break it down for him so that when we're no longer working together, he knows how to talk to her, how to like get in her mind, how to get what he wants. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to say to the guys before we leave, one of my favorite sayings for those guys who are in a relationship and there's intimacy: if you are waiting to be intimate when you get to the bedroom, you are too late. Sex starts in the kitchen, or it starts like the day before. Do not, big mistake is to wait for her to get in the bed, and I'm going to tell you why, and then I'm going to go. I'm gonna tell you why.
You cannot leave us like this.
I have to. I must. No, I'm gonna tell you why. And this is a basis on feminine and masculine principles. Masculinity is logical. It is structured. It is like fire. It is apparent. Femininity is flowing, and it's creative, and it's more like water. Okay, so like masculinity, I would liken it to like bricks. You can separate the bricks, you can pull it apart, but femininity is like water. You cannot, if I put a drop of water in a cup, you cannot tell which one is which. So men tend to compartmentalize sex, right? They can compartmentalize it. They have when they're thinking about it, they can just think about that. They're not thinking about other things like that. They don't have to. It happens. This is not like a never. This is not this or that. This is likelihood. This is what most likely will occur. It's not always, right? So it's not a fact. It's like a tendency, right? With that being said, sometimes guys, they wait for moments to initiate sex. But for a woman, right, even though it's always on his mind, right? It's always on his mind. For women, we're flowing. The sex and intimacy has to be in everything. You cannot compartmentalize sex for a woman. And you cannot, but it's not about making it sexual. It's about intimacy. So what do I mean? What I mean is, let's say you're married and she's cooking dinner, right? You want to help her make dinner. You want to stand behind her and help her chop. You want to kiss her on the neck and tell her you look gorgeous. When she's eating, you want to pull out her chair and let her sit down. You want to hold her hand, and you want to, if you pray or not, or before you eat, kiss her on the lips. When she's done, if she has food on the side of her mouth, you want to, take it off her lips, or grab her face and kiss her mouth. You want to be doing these little things throughout the day. It's been going on. You probably won't even make it to the bedroom with all of that, because she'll be probably taking your clothes off, or in the morning, right? When you wake up, what happens is compartmentalized. Guys, they get up, they brush my teeth or whatever. And let's say it's a busy day, right? So he's not thinking about sex in that moment. He's thinking about work. He's brushing his teeth. He's doing all these things or whatever. After a long day's work, he's eating. Now he's super horny. He's ready. He's getting ready for bed. She's not thinking about, she's nowhere near. That's not even there. So if you try to just take off her clothes, you're going to make her feel sexualized. Instead, what you can do is, baby, let's take a shower together. Kiss her on the cheek. Baby, I'm thinking about you. I miss you. A text message, right? You get home. Let me rub your shoulders. Let me help you with dinner. Those are 3 things that he's done in the day that has the flow of intimacy throughout the day, so that by the time he's really wanting the sex, she may initiate, or she might be in the mood. Versus compartmentalizing your day, right? And so that you make her feel like a checklist. I went to work, I came home, I did this, I did that. Now I want sex. It's too compartmentalized. You have to mix it around.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, Original Black Pepper. He said, I give my legend title to Cassandra. Oh my goodness, I am taken aback and honored. Thank you. I love you guys.
Well, thank you so much, Cassandra. That's been something really incredible. We have never had a host of this kind before on Twitch. Thank you so much for this.
Yes, and we said it behind the scenes when we were setting up. I want to repeat it live. You look amazing. You're a very, very beautiful woman.
Thank you. Really you ladies too. You guys are gorgeous. Are you kidding me? You're absolutely beautiful. Well, maybe have me on again. I would love to come back on. And now, yes, and now you guys know how this goes. So guys, come with your questions. It doesn't matter if it was a relationship from the past that you no longer want. If you want to learn from it, I can help you learn from it. I want men happy. I want men to feel happy, and I want men to feel love. That's my motivation.
Wow.
Guys, if you haven't yet followed her Instagram account, then I don't know what you're waiting for. Maybe because you were just fascinated by the conversation. Maybe that's the only excuse and reason. Right. I mean, not for her, for you guys.
Please, guys, go ahead. check the Instagram account. We have the link here. We can use the command ask MS Cassandra. We also have a short bio. That was really incredible. Thank you so much, Cassandra. As I said previously, I'm not sure who learned more today from this conversation.
Absolutely.
Me and my sister Asya, or our dear Chad, our dear man. I don't know, but I think both of us learned a lot.
Yes, well, I'm here for you guys. And so Irv says he wants me to come back. I would be more than honored to come back. You guys are amazing. We will set something up and we will have a good old time. Maybe we'll talk about, all about sex. All your questions. I will tell you everything that you need to know.
Okay.
Okay.
I think like that. They like that. So I'll give them what they want.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We'll
You're
definitely
welcome.
stay in touch. Have an amazing day and have an amazing Valentine.
I will. You too.
Yes,
Bye,
have a good
guys.
Thank you.
Valentine.
Bye. Okay, guys. Whoa. What a show. What a show. Oh my.